Chosen one, listen carefully. This message will change everything for you. God said, "Hear this now. If you are watching this, it is not by accident. It is not a coincidence. You were meant to be here. This is a divine appointment, and what you are about to hear will shift your entire life. You have been waiting, searching, longing for something to confirm what you already feel in your spirit. The signs have been there, the whispers from heaven, the moments when you knew deep inside that God was leading you somewhere greater. And now, at this very moment, He is speaking directly to you. This is the confirmation you have been praying for. This is the message that will open your eyes and change everything. Do not ignore this. Do not scroll away. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. God is about to reveal something that will give you the clarity you have been waiting for. But first, are you ready to receive it? Chosen one, lean in and listen closely, because what I am about to tell you will shake your spirit. This is the moment you have been waiting for. You have felt it for a long time, haven't you? A stirring deep within you, a knowing that something in your life is about to shift. It has been unexplainable, almost like a whisper in your soul, telling you that you are on the edge of something greater. And now God is saying, "Hear this now. This message will change everything." You see, when God speaks, everything obeys. Mountains move, chains break, closed doors swing open. And when He chooses to deliver a message like this, it means that something significant is about to happen. But here's the truth. Not everyone will understand this. Not everyone will receive it. Because this message is not for everyone. It is for the chosen ones. The ones who have been set apart. The ones who have endured trials, heartbreak, and seasons of waiting. Not because they were forgotten, but because they were being prepared. You have been in preparation. You have walked through valleys where it felt like no one understood your struggle. You have cried out in prayers that seemed unanswered. You have waited, wondering if God had forgotten about you. But listen carefully. He has not forgotten. He has been watching. He has been working. He has been preparing. And now He is saying, "It is time." What if I told you that you are one step away from the biggest breakthrough of your life? That the delay you thought would last forever is actually coming to an end? That what has been held back from you is about to be released. You are standing at a divine crossroads. One decision, one act of faith, one moment of obedience could unlock everything that has been waiting for you. Think about it. Throughout history, God has changed the course of people's lives with just one message. Moses was tending sheep in the wilderness when God spoke to him through a burning bush. One message, and his destiny was revealed. Mary was just a young woman, living an ordinary life, when an angel appeared and said, "You have found favor with God." One message, and her purpose was set in motion. Paul was on his way to persecute Christians when he was struck blind and heard the voice of Jesus. One message, and his entire life was transformed. And now, God is delivering your message. This is why you cannot ignore this moment. This is why you cannot walk away thinking this is just another video. Because it is not. This is the word you have been waiting for. But here's the question. Will you listen? Will you have the faith to believe that God is speaking directly to you? Will you have the courage to step into the unknown, trusting that what He has planned is greater than anything you could have imagined? Chosen one, you are on the edge of something life-changing. The breakthrough is closer than you think. But there is something you must understand, something that will determine whether you step into your blessing or stay stuck where you are. Are you ready to hear it? Chosen one, the moment you have been waiting for is here. But before you can step into what God has prepared, you must understand something crucial. There is a reason you have felt stuck. A reason why things have not moved as quickly as you hoped. A reason why your prayers seemed unanswered. Why the breakthrough felt delayed. Why the doors that should have opened remained closed. It was not because God was ignoring you. It was because He was protecting you. He was preparing you. He was refining you for something bigger than you can imagine. Think of gold. Before it can shine, it must go through fire. It must be purified, its imperfections burned away, until it is ready to reflect the brilliance it was always meant to have. That is what God has been doing in you. He has been stripping away the things that no longer serve you. The relationships that held you back, the mindsets that kept you trapped, the doubts that whispered, "Maybe this isn't for me." He allowed you to experience hardship, not to punish you, but to strengthen you so that when the blessing arrives, you will be ready to carry it. Because here is the truth. What God is about to release in your life is bigger than what you expected. You thought you were praying for a small breakthrough. But God is preparing to overflow your life with His favor. You thought you were just waiting for one door to open. But God is about to open doors you never even knocked on. But before you step into this new season, you must make a choice. Will you step forward in faith, even when you cannot see the full picture? Will you let go of fear, doubt, and hesitation and trust that God is leading you into something greater? Because right now, in this moment, you are standing at the edge of something extraordinary. The enemy knows this. That is why the attacks have been stronger. That is why the distractions have been louder. That is why you have felt overwhelmed, discouraged, even tempted to give up. Do not fall for the trap. The enemy wants you to believe that nothing is changing, that your prayers are in vain, that the waiting was for nothing. But that is because he sees what is coming, and he is terrified. You are closer than you think. The breakthrough is already set in motion. The blessing is already assigned to your name. The miracle is already on its way. But will you be ready to receive it? This is not the time to shrink back. This is not the time to hesitate. This is the time to rise. Because, chosen one, everything is about to change. What I am about to say is not just for inspiration. It is a revelation that will unlock the next chapter of your life. You have felt the pressure increasing. The spiritual attacks have been relentless. The obstacles have felt impossible to overcome. And at times, you have wondered if you were truly on the right path. But hear this. God has not abandoned you. He has been preparing you. Right now, you are in a divine transition. You are not where you used to be, but you are not yet where you are going. You are standing at the threshold of your breakthrough, and this one message will change everything. God is saying, I have already made the way. I have already positioned the blessing. I have already written the next chapter of your story. But now, you must step forward. This is where many people miss their moment. They hear the call, they feel the shift, but they allow fear to hold them back. They wait for a sign so obvious that they will have no doubts. They wait for everything to feel safe, for every piece to fit perfectly. But chosen one, faith does not work that way. Faith requires movement. Think of Peter. He saw Jesus walking on the water and heard the invitation. Come. The miracle was already there, waiting for him. But Peter had to make a choice. to stay in the safety of the boat or step out into the unknown. For a moment, Peter walked on water. He defied the laws of nature because he acted on faith. But the moment he let fear creep in, the moment he took his eyes off Jesus, he began to sink. The enemy will try to do the same to you. He will try to make you focus on the waves, on the uncertainty, on the risks. He will whisper, "What if you fail? What if you're wrong? What if nothing changes?" But listen closely. This is your moment to step out. You have been praying for a breakthrough. You have been waiting for a sign. And now, God is telling you, move. Step forward. Do not let fear rob you of what I have already prepared. The door is already open. But God will not push you through it. You must walk through on your own. This is where destiny is decided. Look at the Israelites. They had been delivered from Egypt, but they were stuck in the wilderness. Not because God had abandoned them, but because they were too afraid to step into the promised land. They saw the giants, the challenges, and they said, "We are not ready." And because of that doubt, an entire generation missed out on what God had prepared for them. But you, chosen one, you are different. You have been set apart for this moment. You have been tested, refined, and prepared. And now, God is waiting for your response. Will you step into your promised land, or will you allow fear to keep you wandering in the wilderness? Will you trust that what God has for you is greater than anything you are leaving behind? You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to know every detail of the plan. You only need to trust that God's plan is perfect. And when you do, everything will change. Because what is waiting on the other side of your obedience is beyond what you could ever imagine. Chosen one, this is not just another message. This is a divine instruction. A call to step into the fullness of what God has for you. But before you can walk through the door, there is something you must let go of. Many people miss their breakthrough, not because it wasn't meant for them, but because they refused to release what was holding them back. What are you still holding on to? Is it fear? Fear that things won't work out, that you will fail, that you are not good enough? Is it doubt? Doubt that God has truly chosen you, that His promises apply to you? Is it the pain of your past, the wounds of betrayal, rejection, and disappointment? Is it comfort, the safety of staying where you are, even though you know you are meant for more? Whatever it is, God is asking you to surrender it today, because you cannot step into your future while still clinging to your past. Think about Lot's wife. She was given an opportunity to escape destruction and start a new life. But when God called her forward, she hesitated. She looked back. And in that moment, she lost everything. God is saying, do not look back. The enemy will try to remind you of your past mistakes. He will try to convince you that you are not worthy of what God is about to do. But hear me. He is a liar. Your past does not define you. Your struggles do not disqualify you. Your failures do not cancel God's promises. Because when God chooses someone, He does not change His mind. Look at David. He made mistakes, but he was still called a man after God's own heart. Look at Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times, yet he was still chosen to lead the early church. Look at Paul. He persecuted Christians, but God transformed him into one of the greatest apostles. What does that tell you? It tells you that nothing you have done can stop what God is about to do in your life. The only thing that can hold you back is your own unwillingness to move forward. God is not asking for perfection. He is asking for obedience. He is asking you to trust Him enough to leave behind the things that no longer serve you. He is asking you to believe that you are chosen, anointed, and set apart for such a time as this. And if you have been waiting for a sign, this is it. This is your moment to make a decision. Will you stay where you are, repeating the same cycles, living below your potential? Or will you step out in faith, even if you don't have all the answers? Chosen one, this is your turning point. Everything is about to change. But the question is, will you be ready to receive it? You are standing at the edge of a divine shift. The season of waiting, wondering, and second-guessing is coming to an end. The things that once held you back, the obstacles that seemed impossible to overcome, are losing their power over you. But there is one thing you must understand. Your breakthrough requires action. God is not asking you to figure everything out. He is not expecting you to have all the answers. He is simply asking you to trust Him enough to take the first step. Look at the story of the Israelites as they stood before the Jordan River, waiting to enter the Promised Land. The waters had not yet parted. There was no visible way forward. But God gave them a command: step into the water. Not before, but after they stepped in, the river parted. Did you catch that? The miracle did not happen while they stood still. It happened when they moved forward in faith. And right now, God is telling you the same thing. Take the step. Move forward. Act in faith. What does that mean for you? It means that if God has been placing something on your heart, it's time to pursue it. If He has been calling you to start that business, launch that ministry, write that book, make that change, this is your confirmation. The enemy wants to keep you stuck. He wants you to stay trapped in fear and hesitation, believing that you need more time, more resources, more validation before you act. But hear me. If God is calling you, then you are already equipped. The connections, the opportunities, the provision, it will all come after you step out in faith. This is what separates the truly chosen from the ones who miss their moment. Many hear the call, but only a few respond. Many sense the shift, but only a few take action. Which one will you be? Because let me tell you, chosen one, when you finally step into obedience, when you stop waiting for everything to be perfect and simply trust that God is leading you, doors will open that no one can shut. You will see favor that does not make sense. You will experience breakthroughs that others only dream of. But the key is this: you must act. You must refuse to let fear control you. You must make the decision that no matter what it looks like, no matter what people say, no matter what doubts try to creep in, you are moving forward. Because you are not just anyone. You are chosen. And chosen ones do not stay stuck. They do not let fear dictate their destiny. They step boldly into what God has prepared for them. And when you do, everything will change. The moment you have been waiting for, the confirmation you have been seeking, the sign that you asked for, it is here. Now, the decision is in your hands. You have been praying for change. You have been crying out for breakthrough. You have been asking God, when will it be my time? And now He is saying, your time is now. But listen carefully. Your miracle is waiting on your movement. God has already written the next chapter of your story. He has already aligned the right people, the right opportunities, and the right doors. But He will not force you to walk through them. This is where faith comes in. This is where the truly chosen ones separate themselves from the rest. Anyone can hear a message. Anyone can feel the stirring in their spirit, but only those who truly believe will take the next step. Will that be you? Will you refuse to stay in the same place any longer? Will you choose to silence the doubts, the fears, and the voices that tell you it's too late? Will you finally step into the calling that God has placed on your life? Because if you do, everything will change. The door that seemed permanently closed, it will open. The opportunity you thought you missed, it will return. The blessing that felt out of reach, it will manifest. But you must be ready. You must decide that you will not miss your moment. Because there are two types of people in this world: those who hear the call and stay where they are, and those who hear the call and move. Which one will you be? Chosen one, God is waiting for your response. What will you do? This is the turning point you have been praying for, the shift you have been sensing, the breakthrough that has been waiting for you to take hold of it. Do you feel it? The weight that once held you back is lifting. The chains that kept you in place are breaking. The doubts that whispered, "What if nothing changes?" are being silenced by the truth. God has already decided your victory. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not stuck. You have been chosen. Every step of your journey, every trial, every delay, it was never about keeping you from your purpose. It was about preparing you for it. And now, that preparation is complete. You are stepping into a new chapter. A chapter where your prayers are answered, where the dreams God placed inside you begin to unfold, where the blessings that once felt distant become your reality. Because when God moves, He moves suddenly. One moment, everything seems the same, and then, in an instant, everything changes. That is what is about to happen for you. So do not doubt. Do not hesitate. Do not let fear rob you of what is already yours. Walk forward in faith, because you are not just anyone. You are chosen, and this is only the beginning. If this message spoke to your spirit, let me know in the comments. Declare your faith. Speak it into existence. Type, "I am ready," as a sign that you are stepping into your breakthrough. Your time is now. Your miracle is here. And soon, you will have the testimony to prove it.